gonna sing. And coming to a venue near you. I was talking to Barb Nolan, and she very generously said that she'll leave her teachings for another time. I may have scared her when I said I'm only going to give you 5 hours on the agenda, but she has graciously said we'll leave the teachings for another time. She said it's important that we get on with the teachings on the 7-point pointed star clan-based structure teachings. But before I get into asking our that agenda item to start, I want to just welcome all the communities that are live streamed in here and those that are celebrating. I'm going to name them again that are celebrating this day in each of their communities. Nishnawbe Gishgit. We got Wasak Singh, BZA, which is Rocky Bay, Binjit, Wabig, Zagin, and Nishnawbe. Curve Lake, Nipissing. Long Lac 58, Kettle and Stony Point. On deck, Amnakani, where everything is A-OK. Ziba Singh. Red Rock, Georgina Island, Mississauga number 8, and Whitefish River. Also in the hub at the Anishinaabe Nation headquarters, all the staff are there in the hub apparently. I was debating which message to give you. Either get back to work, but that's not the message. It's welcome. Welcome to the session today. Good to see you participating back at the office. And again, I'll just reiterate, Arnya in the lobby is giving out tickets for a door prize. I didn't ask her what the prize was. Maybe you win a door, I don't know. But she's giving out a door prize. And don't forget the vendors. Get a chance. Vendors are out there. So, where is Chop and where is Richard? There's Richard coming. Are you doing the 7-point tee? It's Chop, is it? Oh. Chop, where you are. Oh. Okay. Well, maybe we have time for Barb. Is Barb still here? Hey, Barb Nolan. Ma, John. Oh. You know, I commented on it yesterday when I was making my remarks. You know, we should be very proud. And as I said, I used to hear that a lot at the Ojibwe Cultural Foundation, that every day is an Anishinaabe Day. And, you know, but we should be very proud. You know, I could go on and on and on about how the Anishinaabe Nation has been at the forefront of so many things. Well, we are waiting for Chop. You have to go and pick up a trailer. So, are you want to do a little bit on your Anishinaabe, the importance of Anishinaabe? They were only going to give you 10 minutes, so we'll give you 11. No, just kidding.
I was in the middle of putting the translations to the TikTok. I had video recorded this morning over there at the registration table. I sent that video to my daughter in North Bay, and then I have to send her the translation for what I'm saying. So that's what I was in the middle of doing, so she's going to have to wait until I'm finished that. Now how? I'll put that down, and I hope I don't forget where I'm going. Now, it's very important that we hold our Anishinaabe in high regard. I know you all do, but it would be nice if we create some speakers. That is my mission, is to create a speaker. I've already created 1, 2, maybe 3, where they're at the state of understanding and conversing with other people that speak the language. But they spend a lot of time with me. And I have every weekend off. I don't get no visitors. And I'm sitting there, chick by myself, with 3 dogs. My dogs understand the language. And I think I told you that yesterday. Nah. And my dogs, they understand Gujing, they head for the door. When I tell them Gujing, they head for the door. When I say Gabakadena, okay, like you guys did this before lunch, I asked you to ask somebody, Ani Gabakadena, and that person probably said, Apchigo. So, mi deshwe ni kishpen gego gweta ni win kidwin and kedman.
My dog knows Mother Ben, Minwa Shangshanan, Minwa Kojin, Minwa Wisinen.
Oh, wait there. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm so proud of that kid. Her mother speaks to her all the time in the language. Now she's speaking to her dogs. You know, pretty soon the dogs are going to start barking in the language. Anyway, so even if you know 4 words, 5 words, so everybody knows how to say ani, but then pause, because I noticed that people are saying ani bojo. They're putting the words together. So I'm saying don't do that, okay? Leave a pause, take a breath or 2, and then move on to bojo. Actually, ani is very informal. It's a very informal greeting. Okay, you say ani to most everybody. Midashminoa, bojo is a more formal. It's more formal. Okay, so bojo, more formal, more respectful of whomever you're talking to. So that's 1. If you know that, well, good. I want to hear lots of ani and bojos around the room. And then you can ask yourself, what else can I say to somebody? Okay. The learners, okay. Okay, what do we say? We can say, how's it going? Okay. And you can say, Anishna, okay, to the person that you want to talk to. So you approach them, Ani, Anishna. Okay, that means, how's it going? It's just a short form, okay? It's not rigorous like Anishna Jibimati. Okay, that's too long. Okay, so go short form. And, you know, and then you can start using that. Ani, Anishna Gegi. Gegi is you too. Okay, how's it going, you too? That's how Nishnabek talk, eh? Anishna Gegi. How's it going, you too? Okay, so you can do that. All the learners, I'm talking to all the learners that want to learn the language. Okay, so that's easy enough. And then the person that can respond, they'll say, oh, I'm fine, I'm doing okay. So you can turn that, if somebody comes to you and says, Anishnagegi, you can say, oh, Nishin go, Nishin, I'm good, okay? Nishin, I always tell my students, you got to feel that language. You got to feel it, okay? So when you're asking somebody, Anishnagegi, don't go, Anishnagegi. You know, go, Ani, be happy. And that's what I'm all about. I want to be happy for the rest of my life. Okay, so don't do anything to me that'll make me sad or angry. Like, give me 2 minutes to talk, you know. Yeah, he gave me 11, he said. So I want to be happy. So let's all be happy, you know. And don't go like that all day, real serious. You know, put a smile on your face. They say if your face is like that and it's like this, your face, okay? Turn your face upside down and you'll have a smile. Okay. And that's that, because when I'm doing these videos, yesterday I showed you the video of the video for the kids. That one was only 3 minutes, 3.3 minutes long yesterday. Those of you who missed out, I really feel bad. No. I really feel sad for you. No, but that's the thing, eh? When I'm at the daycare and I have to be happy with these little kids, I have to, send that good feeling, the good vibes out to those little kids. And I talk happy to them. So we have to talk happy. Okay, so feel the language. There are times when you might be a little sad, and that's okay too, but feel those feelings. Okay, when I'm teaching students and we go through, Anishinaabe, so I'll have the emoji faces. Okay, this one's happy, ngichinendam. Okay, next one is monotendam. Okay, and we go through all those feelings. Whatever, okay? So, and I give the students one of those cards each, and then they have to talk to each other. Anishinaabe. And then whatever picture you got, that's how you feel. Or whatever, okay? And so we continue on with the conversation. Okay, what else can you ask somebody, your friend, eh? The other thing is, where are you going? Okay, that's a everyday question. When you see somebody, where are you going? Okay, you're taking an interest in that individual, your friend or whatever. So you could say that. Don't say okay? You got to put life into that language, okay? Okay? You can say that. Okay? So you put that all together and it'll just roll out of your mouth, okay? Mokshes. So the response could be, okay, if you're a responder to that question, you can actually go like this. Ute. Ute. Okay, so you point with your lips, just like Anishinaabe do. Okay. Ustude. If it's way over there, make your lips point longer. Okay. Ustude. Okay, so anytime somebody asks you that, but then you can say Ode Nang for uptown. I'm going uptown. And then with that lesson, I usually have pictures of places. Okay, there's any place where you can go. Zhonyagamgong. Okay, Zhonyagamgong deja. Okay. It could be the arena. Shoshkwadegamgong deja. Those words get longer. But once it starts rolling out of your mouth, okay, it's shorter, okay? You could be going any one of those places, okay? So when you're starting to, you want to be speaker, okay? You want to just speak five things, that's okay, okay? At least you're starting somewhere. Yesterday I mentioned, I think I'll develop a course for Anishinaabe Nation chiefs. Eh? They got to start using the language too. In the meetings, okay? When they go up to talk on these things here. When they talk there, they should start Habojo denwendagnak, okay? Or Habojon denwemagnak, or Ajobojon denwendagnedok, okay? Whatever dialect you're from, find out how you say my relatives, all my relations, okay? Denwendagnak, denwendagnedok, whatever. So they should start off with that, and then they can continue on with their Anishinaabe name, where they're from, their clan, Everybody should know that. One time I offered my service to Chief and Council Garden River. If you want to do that, I'm available. Come and see me. That's like 5-6 years ago. I have not got one visit. Что? Kick them in the old Diosh. I know. Gikendan go on and gikendan kidwinan. Some of you already know some words like boget. Hey? You understand that? I made up a little song. Well, I didn't make it up. It's already out there, but I used to put boget in there. And it goes like this. Becca. Becca. Oh, I like to boget. I like to boget. And that's a song out there, eh? So instead of saying whatever in English, I like to move it, okay? Don't say move it, say boget. I like to boget. Okay, there you go. Everybody knows boget, okay? Everybody knows measy, eh? So use those words that you know. Oh, I'm going to go and have a measy. What's wrong with telling anybody you need to measy? At least you're using the language, eh? Or you get up from your chair and it goes, oh, kanskje dangi boget. So that language can be full of laughter, you know, and if you just start using those words, little bit of words all the time, you know, if you got 5 words, if you got 10 little phrases, use them. Because if we don't use our language, that's all going to disappear. Our ways of being are going to disappear. And if you know our ways of being, they are like, okay, we got a good sense of humor. That's going to disappear. We know when to speak and when not to speak. That's going to disappear. There's about, I forget how many there are. We know when to speak and not to speak. We know what to say, something to somebody that's mourning. Okay, not in the morning, but that's maybe somebody has died in their family. Sometimes we don't need to say anything. So we know how to do all those things. That is our Anishinaabe way. So we're going to lose all that on top of the language. Okay? So I really encourage you to say the words that you know, to say the little phrases that you know. We don't want to disappear. We don't want to disappear. Of course, we're going to have all these things here. But yesterday I mentioned one thing is missing, and it's language. It should be very prominent amongst who we are, wherever we gather. And I noticed that the drum groups, they're starting to not just chant, they're starting to use words in their singing. And that really brings music to my ears. That's real music, yeah. And I don't want to hear boget and misi though. But that wouldn't, you know, be drumming away there and you hear misi. What? Yeah. So that's my message to you. Let's not let our language disappear. It's our responsibility, especially the fluent speakers. I know that it's a hard thing to do, is to pass on your language. But once you get used to talking all the time at home, when your grandchildren come to visit, speak the language to the kids. Even if they say, I don't know what you're saying. Eh? That's what you might get at first. So they'll get used to it and talk to your kids, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. And I'm so happy that I got to, there's 3 videos that are ready. So I'm planning a premiere of it. I'm going to put it out in the open that anybody can come to watch it. It's going to be at Chingwa Kinumagegamic. right across Shingwak University, or Shingwak, where the students, where the residential school used to be. Okay, that's where, and it's across the road, and they've offered me the place to do it, and I think it'll be probably within a month, and he might have more videos ready by then. So with that, it's for the children, and it's free. Even my time I don't charge, you know, but I gotta pay this young man. So if anybody has a $20, they want to put it in that machine, put it in here. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Naha, miigwech kabzindoyak. Please take my message with you, okay? Say, start using ani, apishejain, anishna, okay? So do that, you know, and you will be doing it for us. We are as Anishinaabe people. Naha, miigwech.
Chumigwech. Chumigwech, Barb. You know, Barb has said to us that you need to hear the language. And you need about 10,000 hours of listening to the language. And I can tell you, when I used to travel with Deputy Grand Chief Glenn Hare, I used to say to him, don't speak to me in English. And we'd be all over. We were putting millions of kilometers on the road, going around to communities. And you know, I started picking up the language because nobody speaks in my community anymore. And it really works to when you hear the language being spoken that you pick it up. And you know, I was so shocked. It's happened to me twice now. I even dreamt in the Anishinaabe. Yeah. And I've also learned to pray in the Anishinaabe. I pray in the Anishinaabe many times throughout the day and night. But anyway, there's good humor in our language as well. We used to have this lady, Leah Stock from Wata Mohawk community, work for us, and every time I'd see her, I'd say, "What the?" And she'd say, "Ani bozo." So that was the running joke we had, you know. Anyway, I am going to ask Chop to come up. We're going to do some very important teachings. This has been done on a number of gatherings over the years, but it's important as more and more people have to learn. And just a commentary. We're not asking anybody to go back into the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s. It's the teachings as basic messages and principles, and most importantly, the responsibilities that everyone has that's you can bring into your modern context. And so yeah, I've heard people, oh, I don't want to go back. That's the stuff that was done in the 1700s. What good is that now? Well, those principles and those teachings and those guiding lessons are very relevant today. In fact, if anything, they're more relevant today than ever before, because we have to find our way again. So with that, Chop, I'm going to turn the mic over to you, and I'm looking forward to hearing this again. It's a great teaching that we all must continue to learn. Miigwech.
Amigo, gracias. Bonjour, Anishinaabe, Anishinaabe kwe. Kre maingun to go maingun do them. Shagain that rom sing don't you Anishinaabe do. Mabo, Anishinaabe out zwin ge. Gyabe mumpi. Mig not to go. Hage get me no Mishomsananak or Kumisanak. I mean, which could be saying. Kubizindo yak bungiet go on the Shnabe. Ashmino, the Shnabe odds win. Nigas in the Shnabe mumpy. Grey Mingun. I want to say me gotch to one of my teachers that's sitting amongst us. And you wouldn't really get the knowledge unless you sat down outside by that fire, acknowledge the things that are around you. And I want to say chimigwach to him. There's a lot of things that were shared over the past couple of days when we sat together. And if it, I guess if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't stand here right now. I would have probably, I wouldn't have accepted the Samoa to be here. Because as you know, the Shikanboa left us a little while ago. And I did lose my way. And it was difficult. When I sat down outside this morning, our Shkabewis was sitting out there by the fire. And he said to me, "It's going to rain." And I asked him if he wanted my canopy. He says, "Ka, no, I don't want it. I'm going to sit here and tough it out." How about you go to shin? You know, Shkabewis are very, very important to have. And our head gets it. Reminded me of that. Reminded me of the importance of having these teachings that are beside us. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about these governance laws that we have. I'm not an expert, and I never will be. I don't know everything. I only know a little bit. I want to say chimigwech to all of you for listening to what little I know about our clan governance. Because I'm not only going to tell you a little bit about these ones, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about the opposites, what we're going to find. When we encounter these, whether it be in the political world or a traditional world, we're going to find them. And it's very difficult to pull yourself out sometimes. But when we find ourselves in those areas, we have to remember that there's balance. The Shabe Odswin is about balance. It's about understanding how that balance is created. It's about understanding how we utilize that in this day and age now. Like my niece said here, we don't want to go back to the Indian Wars. I'll explain to you how this actually works in the modern day world. Every single person sitting in here lives these teachings day in and day out, and both sides. If you look at these banners that we have here, it's all good win. De boy win. We don't dend them win. We don't dead is win. Bakka win. Quads win. Meanwhile, Akade win. These were only the basic principles of Anishinaabe. And then you look at the words underneath them. Our clan systems are very, very important. When we have our clan systems incorporated in an organization, sometimes there's a leadership there that doesn't sit with the Loon clan, that doesn't sit with the Crane clan. It doesn't mean that they're not leadership. Every single person sitting in here is in leadership. Every single person that is on that stream over there, they're in leadership. When an organization begins to understand our clan system, we'll understand that the Otter clan is just as important as the Martin clan. We'll understand that the Wolf clan is just as important as the Bear clan. Because when we move to territory, these clans will change. And I've been questioning a lot about that over the past couple of years. This is why we never had anything written in stone like Jaganash. Our clan systems were based upon the territories that we lived in. When we look at our clan governance system, we think about the ones that are sitting in those clans and the ones that are underneath. Because we also have to remember about the ones that are forgotten or kept hidden. The ones that I'm referring to are the ones that would actually sit right here in between these two. Because we all have Shkabevas, each and every one of us. Our Shkabevas are the ones that would be sitting on those lines. That 7-pointed star system that you see on that one over there is just the basics of understanding. But when you read between the lines, when you look at the lines, when you look at the junction points, those all mean something. The old man once told me that just because you know these 7, it doesn't mean that there's more. Because you look over here, it's all good to win. There's a word on there that is so powerful that it'll give you the definition of that word. It's called unconditional. And there's a clan that sits with that. There's a clan that sits with that word. Each one of these words underneath are the subcategories, and only the beginning of them. Shikamba and all the elders' council has just given you the 7 primary main teachings of them all. These are the subcategories that I'm going to be speaking about. Is there anybody in here with the Otter clan? Put your hand up. Maybe you. When there's individuals that are represented in their clans, these are the ones that we would go to have a better understanding of what these words mean. Like the Beaver clan. The Beaver clan would also sit there. They were the masters of our building structures, infrastructure in our communities. Not to say that the other clans would be there to help, but these are the ones that would be able to see it before it's actually finished. They would flourish in those areas and they would excel in these areas. In the financial area, you look at that finance. What is finance to Anishinaabe people? Anybody know? Sustainability. To sustain a community out there, how would we be able to sustain? How would we sustain our homes? These are the clans that I'm referring to, is when you decipher our teachings. I talked about this at the last gathering that I was at down south. Jaganash people will always wonder why our teachings are, I guess, a little bit elaborate for them to understand. My background is mental health and trauma crisis. During that time, I kind of ventured off and started exploring something a little bit different. Exploring that mental health in a depth beyond what you could possibly imagine. What I found on that road was I finally understood why Jaganash people don't get us as Anishinaabe people. We're different. We're different in every single way. The psychological world. In these areas of understanding, where we encounter what we would call the quantum mechanics of Anishinaabe in a higher understanding, where you will decipher each and every one of these words, but not on this side. But you flip them over so they'll look like that. So there's nothing there. On that side, you're going to find ego, manipulation, deception, greed, anger, hostility. You name it, we will find them on these teachings, but on the opposite side. Because in our teachings, we have two sides to that feather. Just like the Anishinaabe Nation, Mi'kmaq, there's one feather that's flipped. So when we look at our teachings and we understand them a little bit more and more and more, we'll realize that there's more to Anishinaabe than we realize in every single possible way. So when we start to decipher it, we can look at these medicine wheels that we have. That was the basic and basic. Because this right here, these 4 directions can turn into 8. They can turn into 16. They can turn into 32. They can turn into 64, 28, and continue. That's how many doorways we actually have when we're going through understanding our real mental health. When we break down these teachings, when we invite all the other clans to sit amongst us. Because when I do these teachings, I make sure that individuals understand where I come from, because I'm very biased when I do these teachings. I am. I will acknowledge the Wolf Clan members that are here. Maba, Kare Maingun Dodem. And where's my brothers and sisters that sit in that clan? Who can put their hand up? And then there's always the funny ones, because there's funny ones sitting amongst us. Because I was reminded again by our head gets it about this. If you can't laugh at yourself at least once a day, there's something wrong. And the old man used to say that too. And my niece actually reminded me of that, because she tripped upstairs. And that takes talent, that takes talent. I'm not saying that I haven't done that, because I have. I tripped upstairs. I actually trip on my feet sometimes, kick my back foot. But that's the funny things that we do as Nishnawbe people, but we laugh. Because humility, when we look at humility over here, you look at these categories that are underneath. To be humble, to be quiet, to be respectful, simple, and meek. But what clans would sit there to understand that? Those sub-clans are just as important inside of a community, inside of a family to have. Because without laughter, we're just going to be like that stone cold Indian look continuously, right? And I know that for a fact because there was, I was traveling with my parents actually a long time ago. I think it was, I'm going to age myself pretty good here, in the late 80s. And there was this Anishinaabe person over in Wisconsin Dells. And he had a breechcloth on. That's all he had on, and a headdress. And he was just there taking pictures with all the tourists. And he was standing there like this. Anishinaabe. And then he seen us, and he gave us, that old Anishinaabe nod. And we kind of smiled at him. And then we kind of moved closer to him. My dad is standing there about this far away. We took a picture with him. And he's still standing there, and my dad's standing there too like that. And then he looks over to him. And he goes, "It's a living." And then he walks over here and takes a picture with his Jaganashak over here. And that's one of the things that reminded me of a lot of the humor that we have as Anishinaabe people. No matter how difficult the situation is, we'll always find humor, no matter what. Even when the old man began his journey, I had a real difficult time, like I said. I'm not going to lie. I sat outside. I know I didn't sleep for about maybe 50 hours. And I sat outside, and I think I passed out on the chair for a bit. And then this old grandmother comes over with a willow stick. And she hits me. She goes in. And then I just had to laugh because it reminded me instantly of what the old man had told me, is that when you're doing something wrong, somebody's going to do that to you. And then again, it just goes back to our teachings that we have. The fundamentals of the understandings of each one of these clans. The importance of knowing their roles in the community, because each one of them are community structures. When we look at the Martin clan, everybody thinks that they're just warriors. They're the warriors for the clan system. No, that's not the case at all. The main thing what those Martin clans carry is that you look at the infrastructures in our communities. They're going to guide you to the resources that you're going to need for future, for tomorrow. We make sure that we utilize them. Put them in their roles that they're supposed to be in so they can flourish, so they can excel beyond anything, beyond us. And they would express that to the sub-clans that they're sitting there. Because those clans would come together. A lot of the time when they're working together, they're also the ones that would adopt. They would adopt people, because sometimes people are lost. Sometimes people don't know their clans. They know they're Anishinaabe. There's always that struggle out there right now, even today. People don't know their clans. And then you as Anishinaabe people know, sitting in here, the ones that are on the TV, you know how difficult that is. When that identity isn't there. And even when that identity is taken, talking about the residential school, the 60 scoop. Who has the right to take that? The Martin clan members would sit there and talk to the individuals, express their concerns, share with the identity that you belong here. When we look in further and further to understanding, they are our warriors, yes indeed. They will protect us. But each one of these clans will do the same. Each one of these clans are warrior clans as well. Because sometimes what's going to happen is that we're going to encounter something that we're not prepared for. And the Martin clan will be standing there beside you. That way you can understand it a little bit more when the difficult side reveals itself. A lot of our Mi'kmaq are a part of that role. Because again, when somebody doesn't know their clan, there's a loss, there's an absence. So over my time in understanding that teaching, there is 2 individuals that taught me that bottom word on this, unconditional. Which is all good doing. These 2 individuals told me, maybe in the early 90s before they left, they told me that the only way to fully understand that teaching is from your children, from your partner. And I didn't get it at first. When she sat me down, this actually happened in I think it was right in Wawaskinaga, at her home powwow, when she shared that with me. Her name was Violet McGregorba. She was one of my teachers, and I acknowledge all of that family for the gift that she's given me so that I can understand that more and more. And I shared that with my dad. And then he turned his sticker on because he used to smoke his little tiny pipe at the time. He grabbed that little pipe and bonked me on the head with it. And he told me, "You need to listen more closely." I had to laugh at him. And like I said yesterday, that if you knew my dad and when he'd get mad, then you really knew him. When we sit here, it's very difficult, that word, because a lot of people can't take it. Debwe. Because the truth hurts. No matter how difficult it may be, it has to be said. And this is a lot of the fear that our own communities have, our own people have, because that truth will come out. That truth is shared amongst our people, no matter how difficult it is. And this clan that sits with it is the one that is shared amongst not only the people, but everyone. Which clan is that? Mi'kmaq. Every clan. Every single clan. Just like this one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. the understanding that we know with that 7-pointed star system is just that, like I said, the basic system. What I'm going to explain to you is the quantum mechanics of our teachings. Because with this symbol right here, this symbol is the representation of Chinakana Nastatam Chinakana Nishnabé law. There's also another law that is out there. It's called Mshkike Nakanagun. Just as important. The laws of our medicines. Because our medicines are incorporated with these clans as well. Again, our quantum mechanics of our own teachings. Because there's medicine carriers in each one of our clans. There's leadership in each one of our clans. There's leadership sitting amongst us right now that don't even know they're leaders yet. And I'm talking about the young ones that are sitting here. I've seen a couple of them. There's one right there. His name is Ben. You know how far that young man has traveled to be here with us today. That young man traveled a long way to be here, to understand, to see this. And he was out there this morning helping, being that Shkabewas, of a Shkabewas, because that's where it starts. She's sitting here. Pene. That's where it begins. This is where this clan system begins, is right here. Maba. Yeah, you. When we look at each one of these, the truth is spread amongst Anishinaabe people because it needs to be said, just as much as leadership. What happened here yesterday, truth came out. When I was, because I like to hide in the back over there, I was listening to people talking in the background. I'll share this quick little story with you where this Chinakanagewan happened. On June 6, 2012, there was a resolution that was passed in a building from where I'm from. And that building was packed, filled with Anishinaabe people. And a lot of people were upset at what happened. And I understand that, and I acknowledge that. That roundhouse was more than what it appeared to be. What a lot of people didn't realize before that building was created, we had a ceremony. Walgan. And I have specific instructions from that old man. Because I think he knew. I think he actually knew before this happened. He said this was created with our Puogan and it needs to be completed with our Puogan. So I want to apologize to all you guys after I'm done here today as I'm leaving. I'm leaving and heading straight home to complete, to finish that roundhouse with the same ceremony as soon as I'm done here. Because that's my instructions. And then rebuild it. I'm going to finish what he started, and I promise you that. This wasn't just a building for this kind of ceremony, but for all ceremonies for Anishinaabe people, not just for Shagayenda, but for everybody to come celebrate everything that we had, including these clans. We had every single clan represented in that building. There were banners up all the way around. And I acknowledge the fact that when it's time for us to leave, this is what we do. It's right here. I wore this vest yesterday in acknowledgement for him. I wore this hat for him because this is where he sits now, Mumpy. But he's not gone. He's still here. He's listening. And he yells at me every night when I see him. Paneh, paneh, paneh. But that's my fault. And then we would move on, because that was the truth. We would move on to respect. When is she all respect? Not then the one. Respect yourself. Respect everybody who came here. Respect everybody that's watching on those videos. Because without you, we would become hostile. Each and every one of us. And then you look at the subcategories that are sitting underneath there. The other clans that would sit there. What is the clan that sits there according to this one right here? According to this, Maba. We would look at this and try and understand that. Chichok. Chichok was one of the ones that would bring unison across Turtle Island. What they would call that nation-to-nation building, our external chiefs, because a lot of our leadership have two clans or two leadership, two Ogama. But they would always argue amongst each other. They would always have something to say to one another. And that was good. Like that staff. Opposition is good. Opposition is really good because we have to understand that first. But it has to be done that way. In a respectful way. We're not Jaganash. We don't yell. I was told a story once by my grandmother. Who knows why you yell? Who knows? Anybody know? Why you yell? Anyone? Sorry? Because you don't feel hurt? You don't feel heard. Nobody's listening. But on then the Moin is flipped over. That is spinned around because you're talking from the other side. Because when you're not being heard, sits. Because when you're aggressive, we tend to say things that are disrespectful on a personal level. This is why we have to be mindful of what we say when we're feeling like that. Because just like this word, anybody can say, "Zalge doing," but you can't see it. It has to be felt, just like every single one of these words. This is why we look at a lot of these words and understand them, that Zalge doing, when you feel that word for the first time from a partner, from your children, from your brothers or sisters or parents, that means something else. That's why we have to be careful when we're feeling like that. When we're not mindful of what we say, we disrespect a lot of people. I know that for a fact because I did that. I'm not perfect, and I never claimed to be. I said some hurtful things along my journey, and I'm not proud of them, but I have to acknowledge them. I have to accept them. And that's what that clan will teach you, is that acceptance. Sitting down and understanding when you're looking at the leadership. This is why it's so important that when we're looking through something like this, we have to be very careful. Because some will be looking at ourselves. And then we keep moving over to what I did is win. Who sits there? According to that system right there. Short-legged bird. This is the one that would be your internal leadership from the communities. Your internal leadership as your chief, Shogunashige, according to them. These are the ones that would take care of the communities. They would ask for the assistance of those other ones that are there to join together to sit, whether it be in ceremony or a social gathering. They would come together and share anything that may come up in a community, like the struggle that we're finding in all of our communities right now. And they would listen. And then finally, when it's time to speak, this is why Hmong has such a powerful voice. When they sit on that water, you can hear them for a long ways away. And sometimes our leadership that we have, sometimes they don't listen. And this is a part of those responsibilities that we have in our clans. Because sometimes we need a mediator to guide us and give us that information. And who's our mediators? I talked about it yesterday. The fish clans, the turtle clans. But there's reason behind that. Those turtle clans that are out there, is anybody turtle clan in here? There's one. Our turtle clans, there's two. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you back there. Three. They're the mediators when there's arguments that are happening and there needs to be mediation in between these two clans right here, the loon and the crane, or any one of these clans in general. When a resolution can't be done, they would ask for the insight of these individuals to sit down. But when you travel out west, like not even very far, we'll say from Shagwinda to Okamkong, that'll change. And it'll be Fish Clan that are sitting on top. Those fish clans are the ones that are the philosophers, Chons O'Connoch, storytellers, the ones that would keep those stories and share those stories. Because they're the ones that would be listening closely and dream continuously, even when they're sitting right here. They could be physically right here, but spiritually they're gone somewhere else. They're the ones that would be connected to what they would call the star people, the closest. They have the understanding, given a lot of those teachings. This is why they would sit there and share as much as they possibly could with leadership. And even when it comes to a family dispute, it's the same thing. And then we would keep moving. The Bokawin is very, very powerful. But when we flip that over to the other side of the Bokawin, this is where we're going to find ego, ignorance, arrogance. Because it's a part of this. It's a part of that balance. And over there, because it's continuous learning, the turtle clans are a part of that. A lot of us tend to forget, I guess, even myself, when we're looking at Nabokawin, we have to make sure that we understand those subcategories that are underneath. Make sure that we understand each and every one of them. Because sometimes we tend to lose our path because of our own ego. Because all of us carry that, each and every one of us. That's just who we are. And it's very difficult at times to push that aside, but we have to. To do what's right for Anishinaabe people, to do what's right for our families, to do what's right for us. We have to push that away. To understand the Bokawin, is to cherish what you know and to pass on what you know. This is why I say each and every one of us here, the ones that are on the screen over there, you're charged with something specific. The knowledge that you carry, the language that you carry, you're charged with something specific. And it's your responsibility to pass that, as difficult as it may be. And I know my teacher over there sitting in the back looking at me, she said it earlier. So when we pass these things on, because like I said yesterday, I don't want to do this forever. I didn't even want to do this to begin with, and the old man knew that. And I say that continuously. If somebody wants to do this from me, by all means, here you go. I'll give it to you. But you remember the responsibility that's going to come with it. Because there's a big responsibility, just like what our Nokomis said. There's responsibility that goes alongside when you're given something. And our language speakers have been given a responsibility with that language. Just like the knowledge keepers, just like the lodge carriers, they have a responsibility to share that knowledge, to pass that knowledge. This is why we never had hierarchy in Anishinaabe country. If somebody needed something, just like what happened this morning, we shared everything. There was no poor people amongst Anishinaabe. If somebody needed a house, we'd give them a teepee. If somebody needed food, we'd give them food. This is a part of each and every one of your clans. Everyone. So a lot of the time when we're going through these, the most difficult one to speak about is that one. Gukwad Zawin. With reason. Because a lot of the time, what happens when we encounter this, honesty isn't shared as much as it should. In this day and age right now, what happens is we sugarcoat things. My dad told me about that. This is why when we're honest, when we're saying something, the truth will reveal itself. And they're all tied in together. When we're honest with ourselves, we'll be honest with every one of you sitting amongst us. So when we look at Gukwad Zawin, we look at those subcategories that sit there. And then we look at that system over there. Cool. We have to remember that who's Bear Clan in here? Cool. Nanibwin. 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 Here's something I'll share with each and every one of you as a part of your clans. I like picking on Bear Clan members, so just so you know. There's reason. My brother just said it. Wolf Clan, Bear Clan, rivals. I'm going to talk about this after. What kind of Bear Clan are you? Black Bear. Gabe? Do you know which bear? Black bear? Kane? 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 Black bear? But you? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ka? Kane? And we have to remember this. You guys getting tired yet? You guys need a little nap pretty soon? You know why that is? Why all Bear Clan members? It's 2:35 according to my phone. Usually after Bear Clan members have a snack, they'll need a quick 10, 15-minute nap. Ka, marabin. A lot of the time with the Bear Clan members, this is the community's justice. They're protectors as well, but also they're medicine carriers. They like to take naps. It's okay. But what the Bear Clan brings is the most important feast of the year. It begins with that right there. In Ojibwe, they say Makwagizis. I'm not Ojibwe, just so you know. Bear Clan members, I'm going to tease you now. To me, that word, makwa, is when that bear goes, "Arr." I say nkwa. Little differences, variations in our language, but we can still understand. This is the importance of understanding our language. This is why I like using this, because it's true. We don't shorten our Anishinaabe mun because it's very, very important not to shorten it, because some words will change. And a good word to use, and I'm talking to you guys online if you can hear me, is miigwech. Everybody says chimigs. I heard that many, many times. Mushindian chimigs. An old man told me out west. He told me what that word means when you say chimigs in their language. He's talking about chabiton mikno. That's what that represents when I hear that. When somebody says chimigs to me, I just start laughing, because automatically I think of that old Kanzi that told me that. But again, it was that word right there, is that honesty. He was honest enough to tell me that. You know, I'm not from that territory, but that was a part of his language. And when I heard that and I asked him, I said, well, what does that mean to you? And that's what he told me. That's why we don't shorten any of our words in any of our languages. We don't shorten them. We don't shorten them for a reason, because they're going to mean something else. Or they're going to mean something else in somebody else's language, in Cree. Because you look at ani. Ani doesn't mean hello at all in our language. That was Jaganash that said that. Oh, that means hello. Kage go shindian. Doesn't mean hello at all. And it's funny when I start listening more and more and more and see the little different variations in between how we use our language nowadays, how people shorten our words. Sometimes our words don't mean nothing when they're shortened. So I have a challenge for all you language speakers in here. because our language is so elaborate and so in depth. We'll have a break right after this. Okay? Because our language is so important, our language means something, every single word, because our language is a verb-based system. English is a noun-based system. So there's one word that was actually asked by me, or to me, sorry, by an individual before I got here. How do you say the in our language? What? Ka? That doesn't mean the. And I was stumped. And I came to realize when I was using the in English, it really didn't mean nothing at all. That's why we don't have it in our language. We don't have that word in our language at all. Because our language is verb-based. And you really listen to our language now. You listen to the language speakers that are sitting in here. You can understand the language if you break down the system. Another one of my teachers, his name is Stan Pelche. A long time ago, I was a student of his in high school. And he broke down that system. He broke that down. And one thing that I learned from him was when you break down our language, you'll be able to hear the exact pronunciations of all of them. And then I start to connect the dots in between all of them. And one word that stood out to me was Deben Jaged. When is Shia Deben Jaged? What does that exactly mean? And then I started thinking about it, really thinking about it. And then I started connecting the dots. And then I was saying, well, Deben Jaged means that. And then we're really listening, and he broke it down. And then he said, me, Jim. And he broke it down again. And then he said, G-Boy. And he broke it down again. I said, there's one activating word in that alone. J. That activates that word. Deben Jaged. Me, Jim. Does me, Jim mean food? Does it? Ka? It doesn't mean food. That word J alone activates the entire thing, meaning something else. This is why we don't shorten any of our words, especially when we're working with these right here. Because if we were to shorten this right here, Zalga Duin, what are you going to say, Zal? It could mean Zalgus, right? So try and shorten these words right here, these 7. They're not gonna make sense whatsoever. So why shorten any other ones? So when Arnokamis said that language is very important, absolutely, 100%. Because when we use our language, it's true that the Creator can hear all languages. It can. When you go into lodge, when you go into ceremony, you can hear all languages. But sometimes we don't want to talk to Creator and want to talk to our ancestors, and they only can speak our language. When I want to talk to my dad, I can't use this language. When I want to sit with my dad and speak to him, I have to use the language, because that was in the last month before he left. That's all he could speak. And people would get frustrated because they wouldn't be able to understand what he was saying. But that's all he could speak after, reverting back to our original language. So with that, we'll take 10 minutes? Miguel? 10 minutes? 8 minutes? Mia? We all set? Okay. Mia? Beh, mine. I guess so. I'm gonna try and stay right on time here. We're at 3:07, so I'm gonna try and finish what I'm trying to tell you guys here today before 3:30. So it's gonna be. I'm gonna fill up your cup really, really fast in a short period of time. So don't get too overwhelmed. Because Anishinaabe time is very, very important. They used to call it Indian time. Anishinaabe Indian time. What is that? Everybody says it's always late. Always late, always late. Kage go. It's not. Indian time is actually being early. At least half an hour early. And I'm guilty of that. So Mina, I'll keep going here. So the last one that we were on is Hakadewan. Hakadewan was very, very important to understand because Hakadewan is a part of, you look over here, Hakadewan, when we really, really decipher Hakadewan, on this system right here, we are a part of, I can't even see what it says there. According to this one, it doesn't even say. Mumpy. Martin. So when you look at on that sheet, it says Hakadewan is a part of Martin over there. Hakadewan is not only bravery, but in some of the systems that have changed, if you look underneath, it says courageous, determined, fearless, strong, and unwavering. These are a part of those other clans that are sitting there with the Martin clan. The Martin clan, according to that, they are the warriors, yes, absolutely. But this is where I was talking about the Beaver clans would sit. So this is why it's so important to make sure you know exactly which clan you are. Because there's a lot of bears, different kind of bears out in the world. There's a lot of different kind of wolves that are out there. There's a different kind of fish that are out there. And these are a part of this system. Because they're very, very important to have in a governance system. This is what Chinakanagewen is really about, is understanding how our governance system worked. Our governance system worked in conjunction with each and every one of these grandfather teachings, but we also have to incorporate the subcategories that are underneath. And the subcategories that we see right here today are a part of those clans that you don't recognize on our system, on those symbols that you see in that book. Because you look at that book. Can I borrow your book for a second? So if you look on this book, there's a 7-pointed star clan system governance system on here. And you'll see a bear, marten, deer, eagle, crane, and turtle, and loon. Whose clan is not represented on there right now? Which one, sorry? So there's people that are out there that are Amo. Sturgeon clan? Aniga. Yeah. So there's a good example of right here. A tick. Where would that sit in here? Those ones are the ones that would be sitting on the lines. Miashminawa Maki. A very, very important role, those guys. Miashminawa Amo. Miashminawa Nanashkashis. They're very, very important, those ones. Minashminawa Chisabe. Minashminawa Nibinabe. These are the ones that would sit underneath. I'm not saying that they're not as important, because they are. Each and every one of these clans are as important as the first one. When we go to Wokwemkong, they would change. That turtle clan would become fish clan, would actually become the sturgeon clan. What we would, a lot of people call that as the kingfisher, because it was represented as one of the biggest fish. And then we would look at a very difficult one to understand would be Nibinabe. Nastatam Nibinabe. What? A clan that was kept hidden and protected. The mermaid clans. Very, very powerful beings they are. They would go in conjunction on those lines. Minashminawa, the rock clans that are out there. Mine gundo dem maba. I'm from the Wolf clan. Absolutely. But to decipher that completely, I am from the Timberwolf clan. We have to understand that each one of our clans have to be deciphered as well, just like these. When we break this down, again, this is where our quantum mechanics comes in as Anishinaabe people, where we start deciphering our own things that we have in front of us. Just like when you're building Maba, our drums. Because there's two different regions on that drum. When we start putting these things together, we start understanding that there's more to it now. Because you look at the rawhide that is on this drum right here. It was given to us by one of our Hoof clan members. Our Hoof clan members were given the responsibility of sustainability as well. Sustainable resources for Anishinaabe people. They're the only clan that was told by Mishom that you're going to be given the gift of that sustainability for the people. This is why our Mi'kmaq are represented like that, where you would see an antler on top. That is the representation of the citizenship amongst us. And when they're created a specific way. You just can't make them. This is why it's important to understand that these are just not items that we carry day in and day out, just to go and put them, in front of our band office and sit there as a showcase item. Kagigo, that's not what they're for. My dad once told me, Chijajgo, bundle that you've created for yourself. It could be something as small as a pebble. A pebble is very, very important to an otter clan. That pebble is a part of their bundle. And you ask any Otter Clan member, they will have a little pebble or a rock as a tool in their bundle. Because that's a part of who they are. That's a part of their clan. That's a part of what they carry. Each and every one of your clans that you have, there's a specific item that you carry, just like Kwa. I'm going to pick on Kwa again. This is why they grumble all the time. This is why they need a nap. So a lot of that with the Loon clan, this is why their eyes look different. There's a lot of things that I can't share in this room because we're in this room. In order for me to talk freely about our clans, this is why it's important that we take the responsibility as Anishinaabe people to host these kinds of gatherings in our communities. It's very, very important. When we decipher our clans like this young lady did, we can decipher them to a T, but we're going to be here for days, I promise you that. Because it's going to take maybe 1-2 days to describe one specific clan, because the subcategories underneath are in conjunction with every single clan. Again, the quantum mechanics. Now, I'm going to explain to you something that you may have heard of before, but were unsure of. It's called quantum physics in Anishinaabe in a way that maybe you've never understood before. But what I'm going to demonstrate to you right here before I finish up, I'm going to take a couple of these books here. One of these teachings that we have are part of a system of understanding of who we are as Anishinaabe people. This system that you see right here, the 7-star teachings of governance, is one system. One, for now. The one system that you see on there are those clans that are sitting amongst them in one specific area. But this system that I'm going to show you is going to overlap another system. Where there's 2 different ones now, but happening at the same time. This system also incorporates those sub-clans that I'm talking about, those sub-teachings that are there. Because where there are Mishom Sananak, there's also Kokumasnanak. Because there's balance. Without our grandfathers, we wouldn't have our grandmothers, and vice versa. Where we understand these grandfather teachings, we also have to understand our grandmother teachings at the same time. And we've just experienced it in April. That's what I was told, how you say it. Nastatam? That system has taught us that there's another one there. Overlapping. continuous cycle now that is moving. And it's going to happen again, where another system is going to overlap. Where you're going to have the water teaching, the fire teaching, the berry teaching, the earth teaching, all happening at the same exact time. And then there's going to be another one. And this is going to continuously happen over and over and over and over until we fully understand what the breakdown of this really is. Chinaka Gewin is only the beginning of to that understanding for Anishinaabe people. The preamble that was created is only the beginning. These staffs are only the beginning, because once we start incorporating this continuously at the same exact time, there's going to be more meaning to it. When we bring all these clans together for the first time, because it will happen at some point, each one of these clans that will sit together under Zagedwin, the Hoof clan members, every single Hoof clan member will meet, because they do have gatherings. I've seen them before. And at a specific time of season. This is why this system was created. Quantum physics in our own teachings. When we go alongside with the psychological realm in that northern doorway, the northern doorway consists of the mental world of Anishinaabe people. Anishinaabe psychology is more in depth than we realize. This is why Jaganashak have a very difficult time understanding us as Anishinaabe people, because we are not the same. What's going to happen if you go into Jaganash world and say, I hear voices in my head? Mabage, you take this pill, I'll make you feel better. Causing an imbalance in structure in your body. Because what's going to happen when you get older and you don't know exactly how to feel when you get that feeling back? You're going to be numb to it. Because where this system is, it is more in depth than we realize as Anishinaabe people, because the clans sit in there in specific areas. This is why I say that there's so many different doorways that we haven't explored yet as Anishinaabe people. But maybe we're not ready for that yet. When we break down and decipher each and every one of these clans to an understanding that they sit in a specific doorway, this system right here is going to expand. Because we have to incorporate Amo. We have to incorporate each and every one of those Shkabewas clans that are there, those helper clans, and recognize them, acknowledge them. Because without our Shkabewas, we wouldn't be able to have ceremonies. We wouldn't be able to have gatherings. That's how important it is. Our Shkabewas roles, each and every one of us in here, are a part of a clan, absolutely, but we're also a part of a helper clan as well. Because all of us have our helpers that are out there. These are the ones that will guide you when you're feeling not yourself. Because we've all been there. We all overthink a lot of different things for a reason. Each and every one of us that sit in conjunction with our clans, and we know just a little bit, share that. Find out who your brothers are and sisters in that clan. Our internal governance system that we have in Anishinaabe Mawin is more in depth, and we have to start utilizing each one of these clans. Because these clans are part of a structured system that we've always had. I'm not saying go back to Indian War days. I'm saying go back and understand what the representation of the Wolf Clan will really mean inside of the society today. What is a Wolf Clan member? What is its roles and responsibilities? I can talk to you all day about the roles and responsibilities of the Wolf Clan because that's who I am. I can tell you about the responsibilities of the Bear Clan as well. But how is that possible? Because I have a mother and father. I follow my father's clan because that's who we are as Anishinaabe people. But I also respect my mother's clan and understand those teachings as well. This is an important part of who we are when it comes to identity, making sure that we understand both those clans. So when we talk about the items that are incorporated, each one of these staffs, the clans will have a specific style. These hoops mean something different. Those shakers, those points. Every single thing in Anishinaabe means something. Every single thing, including this right here. Why it's that color, what kind of stick, why it's wrapped in leather, why there's sinew on it, why there's that many feathers. That system right there. This is how important Anishinaabe is, because when you explain this system in English, it's going to be very difficult. Anishinaabe yeah, maba. Anishinaabe Adzawin. Anishinaabe Bimadzawin. It's very, very important to remember. So when we began, I'll finish with this. When we began a few days ago, I think that was the hardest day for me. But I made a promise to a man. No scanny. Shikamba. I made a promise to him that I would continue doing what he's doing over there where he is. Here. I come to understand that he's accepted Sam off from that doorway to go. Because he's needed over there as much as he was needed here. And he shared his time here with us and has given as much as he could to all of you. All those teachings that he shared with you guys individually, those teachings are for you to use and share them, use them. Because that's your responsibility now. You guys as knowledge keepers sitting in here, you're charged now with sharing those. You're charged specifically with sharing those. Minashminwa chimigwach gbijayin gbizindo yek maba nigazin shnabe kremaingal. Geget minwa mishom sananak kokumasanak. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming here today. I want to thank all you guys on that screen and there. All those communities that are sharing this day, because this day, June 6th, is Anishinaabe Day. Because June 21st was given to us by the government. And all you Indian Act people out there, you have a good day on that day too. But for all you guys out there We all know what June 21st is, and there's a little joke amongst our drummers, our dancers. I know there's a couple of dancers here, and I'll say this. You celebrate on National Aboriginal Day or Indigenous Day or whatever you want to call it, Indian Day, June 21st. But to some of us, that's what they call it, National Gig Day. Every single Anishinaabe person is going to be dancing on that day or singing. But we have fun because laughter is a part of who we are. June 6th is a very special day for myself. Not only for my dad. The Jaganash world knows him as Gordon Wondabensba. I know him as Dad. I know him as Shikeba. And I want to say Chimigwech to all of you that are going to take that time to sit down with the younger generations and share what you've learned. Give them what they need. Because like I said, we're all charged with something. And it's time to rise up. It's time to share. It's time to give. Eliminate this negativity, this greed, these ego. Let it go. That's not who we are as Anishinaabe people. Gegwa. Amigwech kubijaying. Hi hi.
Rich. We are very close to winding down, but there's a couple more things we have to do. So I'll lay out what's left for the afternoon. And some of these things are going to happen and won't take long, but it's very important things. Isidore Toulouse, the official translator of the Anishinaabe Nation, is going to come up and do a couple of minutes. Barb Nolan says I still owe her about 3 minutes, so she's got something to share with us. The door prize still has to be picked out. And then we get into some very needed and important stuff. Our drum group is going to do a Plains Ojibwe Veterans song. They're going to do a song to take and retire the Eagle staffs, and then they're going to do a traveling song at the end. And there's also a giveaway. So we've got a few things left. And right now, Isidore is standing by, so here you go.
Amigwech, Ani, bonjour, Ani bonjour, Ani bonjour. It's like your name is Bonjour. Ani bonjour. So like Barb says, don't say them together. Take a breath. Ani bonjour. I just want to talk about quickly here some of these teachings that we have. Ginwe Anishinaabe Ying Manda Kidwin Nbwakawin. Nbwakawin. Wisdom. Wise. We use the word Nbwachwe. Ahaw gabin bwachin. We use it as visiting. Visit. But it really means I will come and share my knowledge with you. Kabin bwachin. Bin bwachishin. Bring your knowledge to me. It doesn't mean visit. It means you're sharing, coming to share knowledge with me. Bin bwachishin. Each and every one of us has a teaching that we can share with one another. From the little kid to a first-time speaker to an elder. So kinawaya da'an, a teaching. Everybody has a teaching. So I wanted to share a prayer that I created many years ago, and it's going to be on the screen here in a minute, in a second. Ojibwe kijeb nimewas. Miigwech gjemenedo. Kin kinagego gajetoin.
Miigwech Mishomis Gizis. Gibe Waseajein Nungo. Miigwech Nokomis Dibik Gizis. Gibe Waseajein Nidbikug. Miigwech Shkokamikwe. Gimi Jiang Bimadazuin. Gimi Jiang Mijim. Gimi Jiang Bish. Gimi Jiang Westiag. Minwa Gimi Jiang Nesewin. Sema Nbugdina. Giwednung. Wabenung. Jaunung. Minwa Eppingishmug. Not a motion Jim Shkogabuya. Minwa Jizong Deeya. Miigwech Gjemenido.
Okay, so this prayer is in the on a website. I don't know who put it on there. I didn't. I just found it there one day, and I was really excited that it was on there. So if you just type in Isidore Toulouse prayer, you'll hear that prayer, and it goes Miigwech Gjemenido. Thank you, Creator. You can change Gjemenido to Debenjget. Debenjget, he or she who owns everything. Debenjget. Kin kinegego gajetoin, for all that you have created. Miigwech mishomis gizis, gibewaseaje nangwa. Thank you, Grandfather Sun, for shining on us today. Miigwech nokomis dibiki gizis, gibewaseaje nedibikak. Thank you, Grandmother Moon, for shining on us at night. Miigwech shkakmikwe. Thank you, Mother Earth. Gimi jiang. Again, you need to enunciate the words. Gimi jiang. Gimi je. Je. Don't say Gimi jiang. Unless you're constipated, you want to thank the Creator for allowing you to poop again. Miigwech Gimi jiang. And there's times that when I'm teaching that prayer, students will mispronounce that. Gimi's young, and I'll laugh quietly, and I'll correct them quietly. Gimi's young, okay? Gimi's young. So, and that Gimi's young is just a repetition for giving us. Gimi's young mijim, Gimi's young bish, Gimi's young wesiang. Meanwhile, Gimi's young nesewins for giving us our breath. Seman bagdina, I offer my tobacco, giwednung. Wabenung, Jaunung, Eppingishmuk, to the four directions. Nadmoshin Jim Shkugabuya. Help me to stand strong. Not to literally stand strong, but to be able to take harsh criticism from people, to be able that to bounce off of you, to just shrug it off. Okay? Nadmoshin Jim Shkugabuya. Minwa Jizong Deeyan. Dee. Don't say zong die, okay? To have strong buns of steel, okay? Zong de. Zong de, not zong die, all right? Aha, miigwech.
So Miigwech for sharing. Barb, you want to come up, Barb? Our language commissioner.
I know some of you don't have TikTok, but some of you have TikTok, right? Well, this morning I'm coming in. Yesterday I was very excited. You don't know how excited I was. And when Esbike told me he's got 3 videos done, 3 of the children's videos done, and I showed one here. Well, this morning coming in, I thought, geez, I got to make a TikTok here, you know. So I'm going to show you the TikTok that's on the TikTok. Those of you who have got the TikTok, some of you don't have it, so you'll have to turn around and watch the video. Now, Ani Bosho Wache Sego Nichkie Kanishanangwa Mampita Chachkin Gumanda. Mishanda gego winak magat. Manda winak magat namwa. Manda kashino monen. June 6th. Maba min gises. Modos gun geset. Nige awan Nishnabeg Ishgat. En sagishgok shivna Nishnabeg Ishgat da awan. Manda de shku memdige P June 6. Min gises, budas gunigeset. Mi whip P Gishabigat, Ibe Shak Bimot, Gimak Manda governance Ishnakadik. Mi would kinawaya Ibe Shak Biang Shag de Nosuinwa. Mi dashmanda and Jim not stoing nangwa June the 6th. Mampiga Shabigate. Mampi Shabigate. Chinendanda Nishnabe Ao Ying. Mi Shabigate. Manda the Shmega Shitchage. Wim Sinazgui. Aha, me Mampia Nishnabe Gishgat the Point and Da. Aha, Gigi Nog Dash Chemgego. Manda P. Nahao, Miigwech.
Chewigwech, Barb. Excellent, as usual. Okay, Marcy, are you, not Marcy, Arnya, are you, do you have the door prize ready? Okay, could you maybe get Chop? Can you pick out the winning ticket? My name's Patrick. And the winner is Sarah St. Louis. Are you here, Sarah St. Louis? Oh, she wasn't in the room. Disqualified. I'm just kidding. No. Pick another name? Oh, okay. Gail Jocko. There she is right there. You win an all expense paid trip to Whitefish Falls. No, I'm just kidding. One way. No, I'm just kidding. What's the prize?
It's over there.
Okay, the prize is over there. What's over there?
This is from Schnabel Department.
Okay.
They won a prize. That's here.
Matthew Migwans won a prize from Schnabe Moen. Area code. There he is, right there. Matthew, congratulations. Congratulations. Way to go. He managed to pick up a gift basket instead of that all expense paid trip to Mindamoya. Okay. Was there more prizes or was that it? Hello, Barb, where are you? That's it for prizes? Okay. Miigwech. Congratulations to the two winners. All right. How should we do this in what order? We have a giveaway. And then we have the retiring the, we got to do the veteran song and then retire the flags and then a traveling song. So we should do the giveaway first. Now how? Okay, we're giving all this stuff away here. Who's going to handle the giveaway? Barb? Okay. Okay, come on in. Grab something from the elders first. Just from the strawberries that way. Elders first, then we'll have all of the Anishinaabe Kwe come next, or youth as well. Yeah. Singers, come on up as well. Yeah. Just while we got a second here, while people are picking up something from the giveaway here, Let's give a big hand to Thunder Earth. That was a fantastic drum. Great singing. That was awesome. My heart was just pounding when I was listening to you guys. Cool, dude. Cool. Sure. Hmm. I was going to say Cape Smith. You know, I really want to commend all of you that are here still this afternoon. It's been a long week, uh, and I really say Chimigwech for sticking out the time here and being here. This was a good sharing of all the presentations today, and so Chimigwech for being here. Did all the young youth that are in here get something? Come on, you youngsters, get in here.
Happen to admit I'm that age.
Yeah, come on in. Anyone that hasn't picked up something, come on in. Yeah. Oh, jeez. You want? Hey, first son, how you doing, brother? Anybody out there that didn't pick up a gift, please come in. I see my good friend Jimmy here lined up. Jim, don't fill your pockets up. Just pick one, okay? It's already full. Almost there. Okay, anybody else still out there that didn't come and pick up a gift? There's still quite a bit of stuff here. Maybe you young people, some of you youngest ones want to come up and grab something else for one of your brothers and sisters back home or something. Yeah, grab.
Patsy, it's gone.
Yeah.
Patsy asked me to pick up that little pouch thing for her.
Oh.
I said, it's gone.
Oh, snooze you lose.
That's right.
Yeah, you young folks, if you got a brother or sister back home, come and grab something for them. Or maybe your grandma or grandpa. There you go. I don't know which store says advertised, but everything must go.
Everything must go. Come on.
Yeah, in the museum for sure. Okay, just we're almost done with the stuff for the giveaway, and Gimewin Miguans is going to lead. Bring your stuff that you picked up, and we'll have a giveaway dance here. So bring your gifts in. What are those things in the box? Or can I have one?
I was told they're memory sticks.
Oh, they're no good to me. I got no memory. What's it? Okay, just about done. I understand there's a whole bunch of memory sticks in that one box. There's a bunch of memory sticks here, but I can't remember what they're for. Here, hold up your gifts from the giveaway there, and Gimewe will lead you. Jimmy Gwetch. I'm going to ask Pierre, don't run away, Pierre. We're going to do, tobacco was given to the drum by Pierre Dubosky here, who I understand has just enlisted recently. And he has a special request. The drum's going to do the Plains Ojibwe veteran song, but Pierre wants to explain why it was so important, and it is very important on this this time of year to pay homage to our warriors.
Ani Kinawea, Niganzit Nimki Benes Dijnakas, Adik Dodem, Chigin Donjaba. Again, yes, as Pat was saying here, just before I get into my explanation, when Pat was saying everything had to go, I came back into the circle and I was like, all right, come on, Pat. Come on. I was like, I'll put you in a museum. I'll put him in a museum for all that years of extensive knowledge. Oh. Holy, someone picked up a bundle. Or deadly. I don't know what's happening. Closed doors, yeah, in camera. No, I'm just kidding. The Youth Council, before the assembly started, we were approached by Anishinaabeg Nation to think of a theme. Of what this year's Grand Council should be on, or what should it incorporate. And a lot of the Youth Council, and I know some of them aren't here right now, I think they all took the scenic route to the airport to send off our good friend Kingston. We thought about our veterans. We thought of how many served, volunteered to go overseas. During World War II, they say the numbers are around 10,000 to 7,000 Native Americans in Canada volunteered to go overseas. And Canada at the time only sent a population, we had a very small population in Canada at the time, and 1 million in total Canadians went overseas. And it was us, the First Nations, the Native American, the Aboriginal, the Indigenous people. There's stories that were spread around Germany of how fierce we were in combat, how fierce the First Nation soldier was. And some of those stories were said by the Germans that we were one-man army. We couldn't be defeated, we couldn't get shot. And I want to acknowledge all the leadership past, present, that are in this room, that are in their communities right now. Like the late Tom Bursett. My uncle Luigi used to talk to me about him all the time. I want to pay homage to Kettle and Stony Point, the Bursett family. He was a Marine. I want to pay homage to my family, the Duboskis from Chiging, the Corbiers, the Petawanakoots, the Corbiers, the Miigwances, the Bebemoshes, and of course all of our other surrounding communities, the Toulouses, the Foxes. And I know I'll be forgetting many names, but the song that we requested, we passed tobacco on, the Youth Council. We passed tobacco on to Thunder Earth to sing a veteran song. And I know Craig knows that song that we asked for. And when the song is sung, I want everybody in Zoom Lodge here to think of their family members, their relatives. I know there's probably every single one of our families here who had somebody serve in any conflict. And if you think that you haven't had any relatives serve in, recent wars, Korea, Afghanistan, Iraq, World War II, World War I, think about the War of 1812. Our ancestors, they fought. And I don't think Regional Chief or Regional Deputy Mel Hardy is here. But I know there's a veteran here as well. So when the song is sung, I'm going to ask Melody to come stand behind this drum here. She's an Ogichita, and I'm going to give her a chance to speak. And I know you said you don't like being thrown on the spot, but we have to acknowledge you here. You know, it's a very important day. I had family land on the beaches and drop behind enemy lines on the 6th, and I know you did as well. So I'm going to pass this on to you. Miigwech.
Miigwech. Ani buju mi gwanzan dinja cause. Jinagugd in Donjaba. Shikedodem. My name is Melody Cerna. I'm a United States Navy veteran. I'm actually a 5th generation military vet in our recent wars, but our stuff goes all the way back to Chief John Shenandoah, my 5th great-grandfather, who fought alongside George Washington in the Revolutionary Wars before they kicked our people off our land. I'm an Ogichidakwe, and my son right now is serving the United States Marine Corps. He's our 6th generation. My husband has been in for 20 years. He's in the United States Navy. D-Day is really important for me. My aunt was a riveter, and my other auntie, she was a WAC. She was in the Women's Auxiliary Corps. Their father was in World War I, the Big Red One. Some of the very first that hit some of those fields. This day is actually very emotional for me as well, because a lot of our Anishinaabe people fought in that, and I know for us down in Turtle Mountain, over 80% of our men lied about their age to go protect Turtle Island. So we have people buried on both sides of this world. 5 years ago, I had the opportunity of going to France and Normandy for the 75th anniversary of D-Day to go honor a man, Charles Norman Shea, who's Penobscot from Maine. They named a section of Omaha Beach after him. He was in the first wave on D-Day at Omaha Beach. He was a medic, no weapons, saved several lives. He's still alive, and that's actually where I was supposed to be this year for that 80th anniversary. But they had rain dance, and I committed. So I was at rain dance and the assembly. So I had other jobs to do, and I had other places to be. So I had to pray from far away. I have several Ogichita and Ogichidakwe that are over in France right now. And right now, at this moment, they're finishing up their day of celebration in honoring of all those Ogichidas. I shared a story with one of our Nokomises, and it was a photo of my daughter when she went 5 years ago. She was 15 years old. Something super profound happened for me. I'm going to share that, and then that's it. 5 years ago, when we were all sitting on that beach, we were all visiting, right? Day one, being in France. Well, all of us will get our meeting for, all the celebrations and all of the ceremonies we were about to be in over the next 11 days. They caught a photo of my girl. She was on the beach, and she was crouched down like this. Didn't really know what she was doing. They took a photo. She said, "I got it." When I said, "Well, what were you doing?" She says, "I was collecting the sands of our ancestors, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here today." At 15 years old, she knows that she comes from an Ogichida family. But to hear that from her little mouth was profound. What we learned while we were on that trip is that starting in kindergarten in Normandy, in that region, their kindergartners are taking care of gravesites from the time they're little because they appreciate. And in that region, they actually respect our people. There are people like the Comanche code talkers, or Ojibwe code talkers. We had over 36 languages in World War I and World War II. It's not just Navajo code talkers. Several people speaking Ojibwe Moin, Anishinaabe Moin were over there fighting those wars, and it was our language that saved Turtle Island. So I want everybody to hear that our people have been fighting for this land. The reason why I joined, and I was telling it to Richard just yesterday, I grew up, little girl, my great-grandfather said, we didn't fight these wars to hold guns. We didn't fight it for these reservations they put us on. We fought it because Creator said that this is our land, and we have to protect it no matter what government we lie under. because we are our own government and we have to protect this land. So now my son is doing that duty. And I appreciate every single one of all these Ogichidas that go and they fight these fights and they fight these wars. My family, like I said, has been in every war since World War I till now. I was at the end of Desert Storm, Desert Shield. And so I just want to say Chimigwech to all of our people that continue to fight that fight, because not all of our people can do all of the things. But let's honor those that can. Wow.
Keep talking, keep talking. just before I pass it back to Pat, I have to share one small story of my great great grandfather, or my great great uncle, one of the two. He was in the First World War, and I was sitting there and I was listening to Chop talk about our Dodems. And my Dodem is a tick. I'm a Caribou clan. I'm a hoofer. Some people say I'm a hoofer. And the small story goes, and I sit there and I think about the compassion of my clan, of making sure everybody is okay. You know, caring. Just before they went over the top was a term that a lot of people in the First World War hated to hear. We're going over the top. That's when they climbed out of the trenches and went across no man's land to get met with artillery, mortar, machine guns, rifle fire, anything you can think of that was used in the First World War. There's this young boy who lied about his age. He was a Jaganash. He was 15. And my great-great-grandfather was no older than he was. He went into his captain's dugout and stole the rum ration. And he went out and he gave everybody in his section some more. And his punishment, I really give thanks to my history teacher who actually pulled up his war records in high school for me. His punishment was being the first one over. That was his punishment. And he was wounded that day. But I really think about that. He calmed that boy's nerves. He calmed many of the men in his section, calmed their nerves. He cared about them. It doesn't matter that they were Jaganash or a different color or a different First Nations person. He saw that there was people struggling, nervous, and he took it upon himself to take the punishment. But he made sure everybody that hour, that day, was a little bit more comfortable than they were before. So I just want to say Chimigwech to everybody, Chimigwech Thunder Earth, and Chimigwech Chop, teaching me a lot of things in life. Of course, our head gets it, and my need Tice Donna. Just want to say Chimigwech to everybody. Where'd Pat go? He ran away. Oh, he's over there. But I just want to say Chimigwech to everybody for coming, and the Ogimok that are still here in leadership, Chimigwech for still being here. Miigwech.
Miigwech. Just, I want to honor a special, very important request. We were going to go to retiring the Eagle staffs, but that will wait for a couple of minutes. We have a very important honor here we would like to include in the activities here before we finish up. So I'm going to call Heidi Wheatung up to honor someone very special. And I'll give her the talking stick. Or are you going to use your feathers? Okay.
Miigwech. Ani Buju. Ninako Kwe Indigenous Cause. Kurvalik and Ninjaba Makwa Dodem. My son passed away at the age of 14. And at some point after my son had passed, his uncle Wes had offered eagle feathers to each of us. And today's the day that my daughter Amanda receives her eagle feather. It's now time for her to look after it. And we wanted to share that with all of you, her family. care of that. And it'll get you as well. Remember, He is always with you. He is always standing at your side.
This is a very special presentation of this important event here for giving her daughter that Eagle staff. So I've asked Thunder Earth to render an honor song to acknowledge this special event. So take it away there, Thunder Earth. Everyone rise, honor this young lady.
It's in the genes, eh, Bronk? Yeah, that's what they say.
As soon as the receiving line goes through there, acknowledging this special event, we have just 3 more things to do. We're going to do retire the flags. Richard is going to say some closing remarks, and then we're going to have a traveling song. All these flags, I think, have to go out of here too, so not only the Eagle staffs, people should grab a flag back in the back here. So maybe grab a flag if you're available to grab a flag. So did you want to do your closing remarks now while we're getting ready?
Aha, nimki an couldn't go. Not go say another way to Senegal to them, yeah. I'll be what you did a dog, you should be young, we do young. He may not in a man, where's our Chicago Shway, but no, my boys, but we know you have over Shway. You are but you gave me, even you must do now. I miss Raji Tong, I mean, on wedding. When this snobby got you got none nest go with them, and me not to win. Me gogish come against the snobby. The march out of what? With this getting got a visit, Borgan, and you got a visit. You watch the knock, can it sweep it with Gabashike? A hog I went in to get go. I got Mount P, got on the meek, got one the meek, almost to it. I went in to get away. And then the Nisnabe moon, got knocked out Nisnabe. School they can done way. When they get any budget, you just swear. You should think, say, you should think. I'm going in. I gave my jet. Aha, okay, now we're going to get ready. I'd like to thank you, everyone. Can I ya? On the Snabag Ishigot, the Rikchito Ishigok. But don't forget what you've learned here, what you saw, and what you felt. Share it. The star that's in here that you see when you look around. Don't forget, there's a twin there. There's a twin there. There's a twin there. I'm going in there, Shemut. Be careful what you feed. Now, I'm going to test you. Homework. Every single word here, or Chinook again, pay attention. I'm going to ask you one day. Look at those words, or gifts, 7 of them. What did they all end with? What 3-letter word? 3 letters. What did they all end? Yeah, well, you have to know what that means. You have to break those words down. When you want to understand what they mean. I'm going to give you a little hint just to start you off. I'm going to tell you what the WIN means. What that means is it's the way it's done. The way it's done. Just like an Abi Winik win ceremony, an Abi Winik win, how it's done. Win. Just that little hint I'm going to give you. That's what that win means. How it's done. But the rest of the words, you have to learn. If you break that up. Kabiga Badone, then you'll know what it means. Flags, the carriers, there's more here. Eagle Staff carriers, get ready. Mishko Stein will start very soon. Me no go, eh? Follow him. Aha. The one that brought us in here came from Manitou. And Chop is gonna, I brought it in, very day one. Chop is gonna lead it out now. There's something he has to do with that. And he'll take it. Miigwech. Anishmandan, Kikitopia, Kunsodo.
Wow. Oh, put it in there? Okay. Where's the Anishinaabe Nation one? I don't have no idea. Way on the end? Give it to Grand Chief. Okay. Here, you want this one? I'll get you.
Traveling song.
Really make you guys work for it?
Appreciate everything again there, Brock. Right, Brock, right on, man.